Experimental aircraft are super rad. And I'm with one of the families, Team George play. It's mom and the dad are both brainiacs, and they have an equally brainiac kid. And so I'm happy to have them here on the hangout as well.
Oh, nice.
The dad works with Notre Dame doing blockchain work, basically, and the mom is a PhD scientist. And then they have, of course, a brilliant kid.
Nice.
Yeah, right? Cool parents, huh?
Yeah, it is fun, definitely. And it's fun because there's a lot of locations where like you see families gather for space apps, and so they're always working on some interesting projects. And yeah. It's a pretty cool childhood experience.
Well, it's such a good reminder for these hangouts that it just brings fascinating people together far beyond any project that you work on, right?
Oh yeah,
so the projects are amazing, but then it's a beacon for fellow space geeks. So it's great.
Yep, getting together and connecting and learning who each other are.
Well, yeah, it's great.
So yeah, hi. So I'm Callie Burke. Oh, let me switch over. Callie Burke. I'm from Kennedy Space Center, and I'm here at the Space Apps Orlando location. So we have about, I think there's 4 teams that'll be working for the Orlando location, and then a 5th team that's actually from Brazil, and they're flying back tonight. So they're going to be
nice.
Doing it from a virtual location.
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah.
So do you want to come? And if here, I'll come introduce you to. This is Holly. So the microphone's right here.
Look there.
Yeah, look at that camera.
Hello.
Oh,
a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me turn this. Oh, can you still hear us?
Why don't we do this?
She's in a coffee shop, so it's a little. There's a lot of action going on. So, okay, there's the family.
Yeah, get chairs. Yep, the family's pulling in. We're just figuring out our space. We're at the airport in the airport room where we've got the. I'll see if I can give you guys a view of the aircraft.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? It's a brilliant one of the. Super brilliant, George. Yeah, sorry. You guys asked the question. Hi, George.
Hi, George. I'm Callie.
Can I ask you
Callie.
Hello.
Awesome. So what's the plan? You guys are doing a tour. You're going to do a tour of all the different sites. You're going to do Orlando first. Is that what you said?
Well, we're at Orlando, so it's just Orlando and Jacksonville. And so
okay.
I didn't get a response from Tampa or Sarasota, but Tampa at least will be able to see what they're doing in social media. So, and I actually went to their location last year in addition to Orlando's. So.
Okay.
And this is Holly. So she's one of the community organizers here in Orlando.
Hello.
Oh, cool. Hi, Holly.
Hi.
So I'm Kathy Flynn. I'm the organizer here on Amelia Island.
Nice.
Amelia Island and Jacksonville are my hometown. I grew up here, obsessed with building model airplanes. And so, of course, beyond excited when I heard about the NASA Apps Challenge and being able to bring that home here. I've done some NASA workshops in California and other places, but haven't been able to do anything here in my hometown. So this is a huge, just a super fun thing for me to do and an exciting thing to bring here, right? And so I want to introduce you to one of the amazing families that's here on Amelia Island. I'll just give you a quick introduction to the mom and dad. And then George is playing Minecraft, and I think that's more interesting than we are right now, which is okay.
I'm sure.
Right? I mean, come on, who's more interesting, us or Minecraft?
It's a very age appropriate.
Yeah,
exception.
we're humble enough to understand that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to introduce yourself to them?
I'm Adina Taylor. I'm the mother of George Taylor, and we are a regular visitor at the Kennedy Space Center.
Oh, good.
And Cape Canaveral, and he's just, we are part of everything there. He's doing the space quest there now. We bought the app and he's playing the game and seeing the challenge. At the Kennedy Space Center, he'll go to a camp in the summer. He's registered for summer camp in the summer. It's been a bit challenging today, so I think we are getting a bit tired.
I am George.
George,
Hi,
the challenge.
George.
George knows the challenge is the adults, right? Yeah.
He's a bit tired, so we had a challenge day. So anyway, we are.
This is,
we
yeah.
are-
Sorry, we just
And
had
then
Valerie join.
to George's dad,
Hello.
you want to tell them who you are and how, how awesome it is. So you're working on blockchain, right?
That's one of the things, yeah. Hi, I'm Ian Taylor.
Hi. You.
At the
What's
University of
blockchain?
Notre Dame. Been building apps and so forth for them.
Well, they asked a great question. What's blockchain?
Well, have you heard of
Simple.
Bitcoin? So it's digital
Oh, okay.
basically exchanging that currency digitally over
That's the
over
data
distributed
miner.
network. So the main feature is it logs everything, so everybody has a copy of what was spent, so nobody can deny they did it.
Yeah, did you guys hear that?
We heard some of it, but it sounds like it's a lot of skills that are pretty applicable to space apps. Being able to data mine and bring it forth and figure out how to use
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so blockchain is, you're basically, it's the next gen Bitcoin is maybe a simplified way of explaining it, right?
It's the infrastructure.
The infrastructure of Bitcoin.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty, yeah. Yep. And so, hey, George, do you want to tell them the project that you worked on? The NASA people?
Do you want to say about your project?
No, thanks.
Okay.
So one of the, he's playing Minecraft. It's all good. And so, even playing. Okay, no problem. Fine. Very
Child.
nice. And so we've had a big day. So George worked in one of the things he did was look problem. Yeah, it was a perfect from someone who's put on hackathons. The virtual reality project was really great because personally a huge fan of having the hardware and the software component really allows kids to visualize solving these problems versus having it all app-based, right? As you guys know, we're all software-based, being able to think bigger. And so he designed some cool virtual reality stuff for your astronauts. I think it's totally a viable thing, and you guys should use it. You guys should hire him. I think you should just go ahead and hire him and bring him down to Kennedy and get him to work. And you guys think?
Start him young.
Yeah. Do you guys
Be an
know?
intern.
He could be an intern. You guys know astronauts Coleman and Stott, right? Coleman, Stott, and McLean are three of my favorites. I'm totally biased. Three brilliant astronauts. And so one of the things that George wanted to do was take a virtual reality headset, and it's something that, for example, as you guys know, Coleman worked on some of the robotics when she was on the International Space Station. This would give her a virtual reality headset where she could see what was going on outside of the space station. Or like how you have the chrysalis where you have the International Space Station, the astronauts sit in their chrysalis. If they had a virtual reality headset, they'd be tied to different cameras, either outside the International Space Station or even attached to the James Webb when it launches. And they could easily use the data and the visuals coming from all the different access points we have feeding us information right now, astronauts information. They're virtually, right? I could using the virtual headset, dial into my fellow astronauts exactly what they're seeing for either teamwork or even safety, things like that. Cool, huh?
Yeah, it's fun. Yes, we had a couple of years where we actually did a space wearables challenge where it was along the same lines of basically how can you take virtual reality technology that's developing and apply it to space researchers, including astronauts.
Yeah.
And operations.
So why don't you tell me, so you work on is there at NASA Kennedy? You want to, that's a super interesting thing to everybody. You want to give me an idea of what you're doing there at NASA Kennedy or NASA in general?
So my job is I work for NASA's Launch Services Program. And so what we do is anytime we have a robotic spacecraft, and so this is one that's going to maybe go up and get weather data or study the earth, like look at the sea levels, see where moisture in the soil is, where carbon is in the atmosphere and the water and the land, or if it's going to go to another planet or go study the sun, it has to get up in space somehow. And so what my program does is when the NASA says, hey, that's a really neat spacecraft, here's some money to go build it, my group, the Launch Services Program, comes along with it, and we help them pick out the rocket. Because the rockets aren't owned by NASA, they're actually owned by companies. And so we pick out the right rocket for that spacecraft. And then we do the integration, because the spacecraft guys are the spacecraft experts. The rocket guys are not NASA, and they're the rocket experts. We're the experts at bringing the NASA spacecraft together with the rockets. So we make sure they get to, no, actually, sorry. No problem. That's terrible volume from there.
You know, you brought up a great point, and something that's so huge. As I talk to a lot of students that want to work in the aerospace industry, is that you have other companies you work with, whether it's Boeing or Lockheed Martin or SpaceX has the Dragon. I just want to give a shout out to Joy Dunn, my buddy that works on the SpaceX Dragon, and she was just named one of the most powerful engineers in the aerospace industry. But there's NASA, of course, is awesome, but there's also over 100 companies that students can look to for internships or for work, right?
Oh yeah, I always recommend, like just at Kennedy Space Center alone, we're Kennedy Space Center, we're a NASA center, but only a fifth of our employees are actually civil servants. A lot of them work for other companies. And so once you actually start looking beyond to other work that we do, then yeah, there's lots of companies. There's lots of ways to get involved in the space industry without working directly for NASA, the government. So actually here, Jefferson, you want to come? So we actually have a visitor. This is Jefferson. He's from Brazil. And so he works here. Do you want to explain very quickly? This is the Jacksonville Space Apps.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Hello, Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville.
How
We're
are
in
you?
Amelia Island.
Hi. We're on Amelia Island at the airport where the Experimental Aircraft Association has a chapter.
So
It's great. We have 3 Brazilian students with us right now. They are working on the lunar habitat, and we're trying to help them to get more familiar with the competition over here. And so far they enjoy very much. We all enjoy being part of this amazing experience.
That's interesting. George is interested in the Mars habitat. He wants to be involved.
Mars habitat. And so for you, before you got into NASA launch initiatives, like for me, I was talking about, as a kid was running around building model airplanes. What was your draw to NASA? How did you end up joining this tribe of space geeks?
So for me, I love the movie Space Camp as a kid.
Oh,
it's
right,
one where
that's awesome.
a bunch of
Forgot about
children
that.
launch in a space shuttle. It takes place at Kennedy Space Center, and then I also visited Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama, and I saw the neutral buoyancy tank. I was like, oh, so being an astronaut in space is like floating around in water, but you don't have to worry about like taking a breath because they give you air. So between those two things, I was hooked on being an astronaut. And then I wanted to be everything. And then when I was getting towards the end of high school, I still really enjoyed math and science. And so I was like, I wanted to study space. And so it was exciting. Actually, on Sunday, I met Leah Thompson, who's one of the stars of the Space Camp movie. So that was kind of fun.
That is awesome. I totally forgot about that movie. That's great. I think that for next year's Space Apps Challenge should be the winner should go to the International Space Station. The kids. What do you think? I would trust a crew of kids to run the International Space Station. I think it'd be awesome.
They figured out things the NASA engineers in that movie didn't even know. Like where we flying the shuttle, the kids knew that.
That's right.
They were on top of it.
That's right. I would totally trust a group of kids in the space environment. Sometimes they're saner than adults in those intense environments, right? That's great. So what do you guys agree? That's a goal, right? Let's have a group of kids.
Yeah.
Have a Space Apps Challenge on the International Space Station. That'd be awesome. Just throw up a couple extra those Bigelow inflatables and we're good. That's it. It's easy, right? Up there. I don't know. How hard is it? You guys are launch initiative people.
Yeah, well, right now we're depending on the Russians, but that's part of what a big goal for 2018 is. NASA is going to be getting our commercial crew program, where we're going to start launching astronauts from U.S. soil happening again. So it's going to be a big year for launching the space station for NASA.
Yeah, super exciting. So, what does a day at work look like for you?
So for me in particular, I mean, it's kind of I mean, basically, I work in an office environment, so I'm an analyst. So my job as the trajectory analyst is to make sure that when we drop the spacecraft off at the end of the rocket's ride, it's in the right place at the right time, and we didn't break it along the way. That's a big key, and we got all the data we needed. And so a lot of like my actual work takes place on a computer using different computer programs, doing different types of modeling. I also have a lot of, sorry, I'm gonna need to find a power source really quick before I lose my computer.
Yes,
and so I can also,
yes.
also keep talking, but
It's the most entertaining part of it's the duct tape of hackathons. I find that the hardest part isn't the hard coding, it's finding a power source, right? It's so
yeah.
That's the duct tape of hackathons.
Yeah, it's just, it never, you know, I always love the joke of how many PhDs does it take to do a presentation. It's whoever calls the IT guy. That's the number that you need.
Nice.
So yeah, so it's, and it's also a lot of meetings, you know, I'm talking a lot to people who are across the country, whether they're working for SpaceX, a lot of those engineers are in California, or the United Launch Alliance, their engineers I work with are in Denver.
Yeah.
Or Washington, D.C. area is for orbital. And then the spacecraft guys, you know, they're maybe at Jet Propulsion Lab, or they may be in Maryland at Goddard. And so I'm communicating with them to make sure I know what's going on. And then there's a larger team. You know, I really enjoy the aspect of being a cog in a huge wheel that's doing some amazing things. Like I worked on the Curiosity rover launch. Okay, there we go. We're not going to lose it anymore. And so, I mean, it's a lot of talk, you know, working on the computer and talking with people. But I do have coworkers that, you know, they have to go on the field a lot. There are people who are, they're mechanical engineers. And so their job is to go and see like how the connections are made between the spacecraft and the rocket. Or they're going to look at the avionics and they're going to observe testing. So they're going on the field a lot too. It just kind of depends on what your particular job is. So I'm an analyst, so I'm behind the desk a lot. But I do a couple times, you know, get to, when the launch goes, I can be on console. And so there I'm in front of a desk, but it's one where I've got a headset on. And if I'm doing the NASA wins roll, I'll be saying go. So I've only done that once so far. And then I can also.
That's awesome. And so what's one of the hardest problems you've had to solve, or biggest challenges you've had so far during your time at NASA?
Ooh, my hardest problem. Let's see. Sorry, let me change. It looks like I lost the Wi-Fi on the laptop, so I'm going to switch over to the mobile. Okay, there we go. Hi again. So biggest challenges. I mean, a big thing is learning the languages. You know, as much as I studied trajectories in college, it's still, you know, understanding what the spacecraft needs when they go to Mars and all the different things they have to consider is quite a big step. And getting, you know, confident that you actually, you know what's going on and can make decisions. But that's part of, you know, when I was doing the Mars Curiosity rover, when I was doing the work initially, I was mentored by someone. So I was working with someone, I was working with a very experienced engineer from the Jet Propulsion Lab, and then also an engineer with some experience from the United Launch Alliance. And so, you know, it's very nerve-wracking because you're working on a, you know, it's $1 billion spacecraft, and you've got to make sure that you drop it off at the right place. But you know, you catch up and put the time in. So why don't I take you around a little bit and show you some of Orlando?
That's great. Hey, George, do you want to see the virtual tour of Orlando of NASA Kennedy?
You guys want to wave?
The adults are bigger space geeks than kids. Hey, y'all, what's up? All right, you guys, we're representing the South here. You guys know the South gets, we're given a hard time, and so we need to show up,
Yep.
right?
So this is
We need to show them. We need to show them the brainiacs of the South, okay? Deal? Can you hear me?
so this is one of the teams, and they're getting mentored by somebody from the community. And this is, you guys might say hi, it's one of our star sponsors. So,
Yeah. So I'm gonna have you guys say hi to the family really quick, to the spot. If you want to say hi to some of to my brainiac family really quick. They want to say hi to the sponsors. Ian Taylor and his wife.
oh, give me sorry.
And George. This is George. George, you want to say hi to NASA, to the launch? It's got a cool job, right?
Hi.
You want to go to space someday, George?
I'm busy in the lounge.
But we'll, you know.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay, take care.
Okay.
Okay. Good luck with the challenge.
Okay.
So we're in the
Yeah.
Guidewell Innovation Center. It's a new building. It's in the Medical City area of Orlando, and so
Nice.
it's an innovation space. So here's the team from Brazil working. So they're figuring out their strategy.
That's awesome.
So we'll go see some of the other teams.
Okay.
This is just another team. They're working on the You Are My Sunshine, the solar panel challenge in there.
Oh, nice.
So this is, we're going to hang out with the Jacksonville team. So you guys want to say hi? These guys are working on
Hi, guys.
a mixture of,
What do you? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't have a team working on that, but I love that project.
Ah.
That's great. I don't have a team. That works out for you guys, though, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
we know we were mentioning it earlier. So yeah, that's good. I was going to talk to you about the different projects that are going on. So sounds like at least one of them you're interested in. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I wanted a chance to so I'm here at an airport. It's hard to see the Amelia Island is home to a ton of experimental aircraft pilots. It's a big hub for that. And so wanted to see if we could. You can't really see. I'd be happy to point some of them out. You can see the tail. We have any pilots there in Orlando? Can't really. You can't see that, can you?
Oh yeah, I can see the plane.
Window?
Yeah.
Probably not. So I'm at the airport, and we've got the planes. They gave the kids free flights today.
Wow, that's pretty nice. So what kinds of experiments are they doing?
The kids today? Kids, did I lose you? You could kind of see the planes?
Yeah, I could see them. So what kinds of experiments are they doing on the aircraft?
So they have the experimental aircraft. They have a large number of gliders that are here. I guess this is a good environment for that. And so today what they did was the Space Apps Challenge obviously has a wide range of ages, but the guys that run the Experimental Aircraft Association here on Amelia Island gave free flights to anyone up to the age of 17, and they could ride with one of the pilots. So it's a great way to get excited about space, is to go up in an airplane, right?
Yeah, anything you can experience hands-on is going to be very helpful.
Yeah, for sure. And so what kind of fun activities do you have going on in Orlando? Besides just working on the hard challenges are a lot.